Hello, I'm Nick Aconfora, and over the course of the next half hour, you'll hear an inspiring story. A story that hopefully will not only touch your heart, but can give you a different outlook on life. Jon DeCasanova is currently a student and a member of the men's soccer team at Eastern Connecticut State University. In the summer of 2012, Jon was diagnosed with aplastic anemia. Later, Jon was diagnosed with lymphoma and given less than 1% chance to live. Jon tells us his story, and we learn why he is a true warrior. Meet Jon DeCasanova. Jon grew up in Philadelphia and moved to Glastonbury, Connecticut when he was 5 years old. When Jon was finishing high school, he knew he wanted to play soccer at the next level. After meeting men's head soccer coach Greg DeVito, Jon decided to attend Eastern Connecticut State University. He is studying sports and leisure management and is in his senior year. In the summer of 2012, Jon was taking a week-long course on campus. It was then that he noticed something wasn't right.
I didn't think it was serious at first. I started feeling tired. I thought, I was just tired from taking this long summer course. It was a lot of hours in a day. But eventually I sort of began to realize something else was wrong.
Well, it was difficult because I really didn't see him. Between my working him at class, he was actually living, had an apartment here, so he stayed there. I didn't see him. It wasn't until, and I did tell him to go to the doctors.
I eventually actually developed yellowing in the eyes, which is jaundice, and then I really knew something was sort of wrong and went to the hospital.
When he started to get jaundice in his eyes, and when there was one night he started urinating blood, and that's when I knew that it was something serious.
The doctors diagnosed Jon with hepatitis. It was only a short time after Jon was diagnosed with aplastic anemia. Being such a rare disease, Jon and his loved ones didn't know much about it.
I didn't quite know what aplastic anemia was, so it was frightening, but at the same time I had a lot of questions that I wanted answers to.
I was like, okay, how did he get hepatitis? Now, how did he get aplastic anemia? No, I did not know that much about it at all. You hear these things and you're just like, okay, what do we do and how do we manage this?
For Jon's close friend Ashley Sullivan, amongst others, it was extremely hard to hear the news.
I was heartbroken. As positive as you can be and you try to be, it's something that we didn't even know about. We didn't know what it was, and then once you figured it out, once you learned about it, it's like, wow, this is crazy.
It was a tough time for everyone. However, family and friends realized being positive in this circumstance was going to be vital.
He was definitely down, but he was trying to stay positive. He definitely became more down when the news of the bone marrow came out, but he tried to stay positive. Plenty of people tried to keep him positive and support him.
I like to be naive. So I don't like to talk about the things that's gonna make both of us upset. We'll talk about like, yo, my weekend was crazy, or something like normal, like we were back home. It's much more easier to talk about that.
Everyone soon learned that Jon was going to need a bone marrow transplant to help fight the aplastic anemia. When Greg DeVito was informed, he took action immediately. DeVito contacted Be The Match, a nonprofit organization that's dedicated to helping every patient get a life-saving transplant that they need. DeVito and former Eastern Athletic Director Jeff Conan set up a bone marrow drive at Eastern. No one knew what to expect, but what happened was quite special.
When we saw the turnout that we had, which was hundreds of people lined up and waiting lists and having to turn people away at the end of the day because we just didn't have any more cards for them to register, when we were sending him pictures of that, and he saw that, he was just overwhelmed with how many people from our campus came out to support.
It was pretty amazing. I got pictures and videos, that whole day. In the last 2 years, there's definitely been a lot of, crying. But I sort of figured out that day I had never cried more.
That was, I mean, absolutely impressive just for what the coach and the team had put together.
I was shocked and I was just amazed. I was so grateful for the amount of people that came out.
The line went out of the conference room, down the hall, outside, down the sidewalk towards the media building. It was amazing. The kids were just phenomenal.
It was one of the most moving things that I've ever seen in my life, not just in athletics.
It's crazy how, you know, a small community can come together. I think it's amazing.
John was overwhelmed with all the support, although the most amazing part was how he was so appreciative of the turnout and had a selfless approach.
You know, it was really an unbelievable experience. And, you know, one of the other best parts about it is, you know, if I did, you know, not make it, at least we were saving so many other lives.
He looked at the drives as not only this could help me, but this could help somebody else. Knowing that he's such a selfless person, it just came out even more when he got sick. And I think that kind of solidified the kind of person that he was, and people saw the kind of person that he truly was.
Hey, bro, we made this video for you. ...
Yo, what's up, John? I was in the middle of a hike and Dan called me and told me the unfortunate news you're back in the hospital, but I just wanted to kind of share this view with you, let you know what I was doing, that you just need to keep your head up, and life is crazy sometimes, but you're a good kid and you're gonna be fine, okay?
Definitely cried a lot during that too.
15 minutes of John crying is hard to watch, especially when it's like crying while smiling. It was cool. It was cool to like have that, watch somebody, you know, see one of your videos and have an effect like that.
You know, having that support behind you is so needed. You know, it was a hard time and I couldn't have done it without my friends, my family, you know, just all these other people that are reaching out to me.
After being in the hospital for longer than anyone had expected, John finally found a cord match. Doctors took cells from 2 cords for the transplant. The objective of the cord transplant is for one of the 2 cord cells to create a new immune system. Luckily for him, it's exactly what happened. After being released from the hospital, John returned home and hopes to continue on with his life. It was soon that more bad news had broke.
I was recovering from the aplastic anemia for like 2 weeks or so before I started growing a mass in my throat. It was pretty big, pretty disgusting, and we decided I had to go back up to Boston to get testing done. It ended up getting so big, we figured out it was actually a tumor.
He was diagnosed with lymphoma. Just when everyone thought it was time to move on, John was back in the hospital.
I was terrified. I knew that aplastic anemia was already bad. It wasn't considered a cancer, but then I knew that lymphoma was cancer, and it was really scary to see that he was doing so well, and I thought that that was it. I thought he was done with hospitals, he was done, he was on the right track, and then we just got knocked back down.
We're all excited like he's out, but then to hear that and hear he had to go back, it was brutal. It was just a roller coaster because you go up, go down.
Well, that was the breakdown. That was a bad period.
It's pretty bad. I know I definitely shed a lot of tears.
It was hard because I had moments where I thought to myself, like, what am I gonna do? Like, this is my best friend. He's been my best friend for 2 years. Like, he's the person I'm closest to. I had a moment where I lost it, because it was like, he has fought so hard and come all this way, and then he gets slapped in the face with this.
You know, at that point you just kind of shut down, and even though you can't, because it's your friend that's going through such a hard time, I didn't know what to do.
I think the hardest part for me in like the last 2 years of, you know, knowing what could happen and what was happening was what I was putting my family through, what I was putting my best friends through. You know, it took a lot out of them, and you know, these people mean so much to me, and in knowing that indirectly, I mean, I was in a way, I mean, obviously it wasn't my fault, but indirectly I was hurting them and making them suffer as well. You know, give me all the suffering you want, I don't care. But you know, to do this to my family, my friends, You know, that's the burden that, you know, I'll sort of always carry.
So I'm heading off to radiation, and gotta get gowned up because coming out of the room. So, but off the radiation, and hopefully it can kick some tumor ass. So.
For someone who had fought so hard, it was tough for everyone to see Jon back at the hospital. People always ask, why do bad things happen to good people? For Jon, he always asked himself why.
You know, I asked almost everyone. I asked my mom, you know, I would ask my friends sometimes, you know, and I would definitely sort of look up and be, come on, man, why me?
I always thought to myself why I didn't understand why someone that good and such a great person would deserve to go through something like this, and I still don't understand it.
It's hard to sort of, as humans, it's hard for us to depict that there is a reason, but, you know, there is.
Oh, hello there. So, I'm about to get chemo, and I would just want to say hi first. And my mom just want to say hi too. And yeah, so about to kick some ass, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, just thought you should know. Bye-bye.
While in the hospital, feeling the support of his family and friends was crucial. In order to beat cancer, he needed a positive mindset.
You know, when you're in the hospital for so long, you know, you don't feel normal. You are not normal. And my friends were there, you know, all the time to give me that feeling back, just a little bit.
It was fun though, cause like we would make fun of like stuff he'd have to do. Like he would like get out of bed and have to like do something. I'd be like, hey man, can you move any slower? Or so, like little things like that.
It was the little things in life that kept the light shining on Jon's future. Whether watching Jon struggle through chemotherapy or laughing sitting by his bedside, everyone remembers a moment with Jon.
One day sticks out in particular, and it's, you know, it's kind of when he's out of the hospital for the first time and he shows up at Nevers Field in September. And you turn around and you're getting ready for a game and you're thinking about, oh, you know, how are we going to do today? And, you know, we're going to win this game and are the guys ready? And then you turn around and see him standing there. And it's, you know, it's kind of like an angel came down from the sky and there he is, and it sort of puts your life into perspective pretty quick as far as, you know, what's important now.
I had just recently gotten released from Sloan Kettering and was finally able to, you know, walk around outside. And at that point, it had almost been a year that I had been in a hospital.
We were in New York City and he wanted to go and walk around. And I was like, all right, you know, if you feel up to it, let's go. We walked around. I had to be like an hour and a half, which is good for him at that time. And it was probably like 3 o'clock in the morning because that's the only time that there wasn't a lot of people out and he wanted to walk around. I was like, okay, I'm tired, you know, fine, let's do this. And he was just talking about how he wanted to get another chance. Like he just wanted this to all work out.
I wanted to just go walk around, you know, New York. You know, obviously New York is the sleepless city. You know, it makes you feel alive. And that's what I wanted to feel.
I think it was the time I went to New York City to stay with him for the day. And he was getting a biopsy that day. And I really wanted to make it there before he went in. I had traffic, my train was late. I was like so upset and I was texting him and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna make it. And he was like, it's okay as long as you're there when I'm out. And I like ran to the hospital, made it there, and just like the look on his face when like I got there when he was in the pre-surgery thing, and he just like reached out and grabbed my hand and like I started to cry. It was just like he just needed people to be there, and I just felt so good that I like made it there.
I walked in and there was a security guard. I got there at night. I stayed overnight with him. Walked in and the security guard, you know, stopped me and you know, he said, I guess you can't stay overnight if you're not a family member. And so on the list that Jon had marked down, he marked me down as his brother, that I was staying overnight with him, which with the whole emotional roller coaster, shed a few tears walking up the stairs to find his room. But you know, Jon's just sitting in his bed with the most miserable look on his face, and he's just like, hey, what's up? And I was like, no, nothing. I'm whatever, just hanging out. He's like, sorry if I woke you up last night. And I was like, what are you talking about? And I guess he'd been up all night coughing, and all of his nurses there, and he just, I don't know, it was kind of funny. He got a few laughs out of it that I didn't wake up, and I don't know, I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that look on his face.
We went to the city. I was actually trying to pass my test for teaching, and because he was having trouble sleeping. He would only sleep, he'd take like little naps and like Benadryl, and he finally was able to eat food. So first thing we did, we went to Domino's and got cheesy bread. And it was funny because you see him in bed and he's like eating the cheesy bread, and then all of a sudden he just zonks out with the cheesy bread on his chest. But it helped out because I was able to like stay up, study for my test, and I ended up passing like the next week. So that was a big moment.
I remember going to the hospital in New York with him, and I just bought this sweet little camera thing, so I was like, I'm gonna film my little trip to see Jon. And I'm walking on the streets with my little stabilizer, and I go into the hospital, and the security guard just goes, stop, put that thing down, you can't bring that in here. So I was like, what the hell did I do? and so they take all my cameras, but no, they take all the equipment, but I sneak my camera in my little bag, I bring it upstairs to the room, and the whole point of that trip was to get a little soundbite from Jon that he could send out to his friends. So I had this little tripod like that big, set it on a table, we put up the curtain, and I did a quick little 3-minute interview with him. And while the interview's about wrapping up, you hear the door open where the doctor's coming in, and I know I can't have my camera there, I'm freaking out. I'm like, Jon, go, Jon, quicker. And he's like, he's just wrapping it up, and the doctors just start opening it, and I just take the camera, smooth move it, and just go sit in the chair. And I thought that was cool to see him be normal with me like that, because that's the kind of stuff we would do at home.
Although many people came to visit him in the hospital, his mother Karen was there the most. She always found time to take care of her son.
Just sometimes just seeing him curled up in a ball, that you look at your son and go, how did he ever get this bad? You don't want to ever see your child as ill as that was. It was a difficult walk, but I tried to stay strong for him and not show too much emotion because I didn't want him to get down.
She's a very strong woman, and she did an amazing job.
She was always positive. She would hold his hand throughout everything. She would tell him that everything's gonna be all right, and she was definitely his main support.
His mom was probably the pillar of support for Jon, because she was going to work, she was going back to Glastonbury, she was going to the city, she would go on business trips. She would make sure that when she was gone on business trips, we were there lined up so that he wouldn't be alone.
You know, on the soccer field when our games would end, you know, we'd walk across the field and everybody gets, you know, a few minutes to spend with their family, and he just, you know, he runs right up and gives his mom a big hug, and, you know, they are best friends.
Mama D is awesome. I love Mama D. She's so good. We used to go over there in college, in freshman year in college, and she would love us, all of Jon's friends, and then they have a great relationship.
Jon always kept his hopes up, and there was one moment he'll never forget.
You know, for a while, my numbers, because of all the chemo, you know, and radiation, had been at 0. You know, and they did not budge for almost over a year. But this one important number that we looked at every day, one day it just became 0.06. And you know, I know to a lot of people that sounds like ridiculous because you're looking at a number that's supposed to be like above, you know, 200, right? But when you're at 0 for 1 year and then you hit 0.06, you know, that's a feeling right there.
He would undergo a special study, one that would hopefully save his life. The T-cell study that Jon would undergo involved a third party that gave up their T-cells. After the cancer, Jon did not have any T-cells. So essentially, these T-cells would keep him alive until one day his T-cells would come back. He was released from the hospital in September of 2013. One day, he went for a normal visit for a PET scan. He went home, and on his way to class the following day, Jon received a phone call he'll never forget.
That was definitely a surreal moment. You know, I was right in the middle of campus, and you know, in front of Webb Hall, which is the middle of Eastern. You know, I got the call, and I was about to go into class, and you know, they told me what had happened, and you know, my scans were completely cancer-free. You know, I didn't even know how to react at the time. You know, I didn't have anyone specifically with me, but the most amazing part about it was everyone was there. You know, it was the middle of campus. It was exactly where I wanted to be after the last 2 years of, you know, this whole school, you know, family, friends, you know, supporting me. You know, I couldn't have imagined a better place to be while getting this call. It was pretty unbelievable.
The great news spread across the Eastern campus and to all of Jon's friends.
Called Mama D right away. You know, she was definitely the first person, you know, I would talk to.
He can be so inspiring. It just brought tears. I mean, tears. Then I basically broke down with him, even though I wasn't with him. It's just amazing what he's gone through, and just looking back and saying all that time, and still seeing improvements over him. He still has, I mean, the road just to get himself physically back there, but he's getting there.
After texting and calling everyone, Jon took a walk over to Greg DeVito's office.
You know, and he was just sitting there, you know, doing his thing, and I was like, hey, so, you know, I have some news, and he's like, so what's that? And, you know, I explained to him that my scans were cancer-free, and I'm not even sure we even said words after that for a little while. It was a few minutes. I think we just sort of, you know, gave each other a knuckle pound and then a hug, and we didn't really know what to say. You know, the guy's been like a second dad to me.
You look at that situation and you look at the odds and you look at where he was even just a few months ago, and for him to have that news kind of, I don't want to say out of the blue, but almost out of the blue, not expecting it at all, that it was completely gone, that there were no traces of it at all, is just, you can't even really describe the feeling. It's, you know, you get tears in your eyes, and it's just the best happiness that you can have, I think, because you know what he went through.
I was juiced up. I was just like, yeah, cancer-free, baby.
The feeling, it's like there's no words. I was like, you're kidding. I was like, no way. I was like, seriously? He was like, yeah. I was like, good for you. I was like, you did it. I was like, you finally beat it.
My heart stopped, and, you know, I couldn't believe it.
It's a new chapter in the life of Jon DeCasanova. He is spending a lot of his time these days as a motivational speaker.
I've been just going around New England, you know, talking to, you know, colleges, high schools, whether or not be sports teams or, you know, just the classes, you know, just to try and sort of inspire and talk to, you know, whoever I can, to, you know, help them out with whatever they have going on. You know, it doesn't have to be someone battling cancer. Maybe they know someone battling cancer, or, you know, are being affected in some way, or just, you know, battling life. You know, life is tough.
I think it helps because, one, he's not just talking about it, he went through it firsthand. And two, based on his age and his like repertoire of playing and being active and all this, it shows how you can be at the top, go down to the bottom, and then fight through it all. And he's slowly, you can tell he's climbing back up to the top slowly but surely.
I think he can definitely be support to a lot of people, not just people that are sick, but people who are going through a tough time, because I think they can relate to him, that he hit his rock bottom and he came up from it, and I think he can be support to other people to be able to do that as well.
I think it's an inspiration for everyone. I mean, I've seen him speak live here on campus. I've talked to people that have been sitting in groups, high school students, college coaches, where Jon has spoken, and I don't know how you couldn't be inspired by it. You know, it's one of those things that when he's speaking, people are listening and you can hear a pin drop in the room. Here's someone that wants to spend his time to help other people. It's not about him at all.
He's the most inspirational person that I could ever think of. I think this will help so many young kids to, you know, get past the struggles that they have and to really take every day for granted and really, you know, use what they have to be better.
One of the things I learned from Jon in one of the quotes, and it was that you oftentimes hear people say that, you know, do everything you want to do with your life because you only live once. And the reality is that you only die once. You live every day. And that's basically the attitude that Jon had going into this, and then he continues to maintain today.
Prior to the 2014 soccer season, Jon expressed how he would feel if he got a chance to put back on number 11.
That would be something. You know, I don't even know if I have words for that. It would be one of the most amazing things of my life, if not the most amazing thing of my life.
Just to have him as part of the team, you know, coming to our leadership meetings now, just to have him around is in itself, you know, a victory for our program. So if he can contribute on the field, I mean, it's going to be that much better.
This is like Eastern's dream story of an athlete. Like Jon DeCasanova got back on the field. It's amazing.
Jon did get that chance as he played his first intercollegiate game in 2 years.
And ladies and gentlemen, making his first appearance at Thomas Nevers Field since November 5th, 2011, the senior captain from Glastonbury, number 11, Jon DeCasanova.
5 games later, his dream came true.
And Jones sending it through to DeCasanova. The Casanova goal! For the first time since November of 2011, Jon DeCasanova scores a goal for Eastern Connecticut.
Jon's story is remarkable, and there are many different words that can describe it.
I would have to go with my favorite word, and that would be relentless. You know, there was no way I'd get through what I did. You know, there's no way anyone can, you know, get through the battles of life if they're not relentless. You know, nothing will hit you harder than life, you know, that's for sure. But if you are relentless, if you keep, I know it sounds cliche, but if you never give up, you know, you can get there. You know, and being relentless to me was the key. You know, so many bad things happened to me, but when bad things happen to you, you don't just sit there and, you know, pout about it. You do something about it. You know, you fight back. You know, cancer chose me, and I decided to fight it back. And that's pretty much what happened.
He's a beast. He's just a straight up beast. That's it. He's just a beast, man. He got so sick, and now he's going crazy. You see it's just a quick 180 how insane it is. Even he was sick and he still went to his mom's wedding. He didn't act sick. He's just a beast. And he was really freaking sick. It was crazy. He was yellow. Dude was dancing his heart out with us on the dance floor. It's awesome. So he's just insane. He's a beast.
Just pure inspiration. Like that's all he is. He was meant here. He was brought here to do something big. You know, he's just a very inspirational person.
He emulates true strength in a human being. That's the story.
Jon's story has not only touched our hearts, but has helped us look at life from a different perspective. Every day, be thankful for everything you have. Show love and care for those around you. And as Jon said, just when everything goes against you, keep holding on, keep fighting. Thank you for watching the e-feature film, The Story of Jon DeCasanova, a True Warrior. Until next time, I'm Nick Aconfora.
My message to Jon is that he is always thanking everyone around him for the strength that has been given to him. And I just want him to realize that it works both ways, and he's really given strength to everyone that's around him in the way that the last 2 years have played out, and the way that he has taken on an attitude of it's not just about him, it's really about other people and what he can do for others. And for that, I think all of us owe Jon a huge thanks and our gratitude for the strength that he gives everyone around him.
Hi, Jon. I just want to say that I'm so proud of you for what you've overcome and for such a long journey. You're so strong, and I'm really excited that you're doing great now, and I know that you're going to go on to do fantastic things.
Johnny boy, you've been through a lot, but you're finally back, killing it. You're going to be out in the field in a little while, lacing up the cleats, try and get another tourney win like we did back in 2010. And you're the man, dude. Champ. Warrior, strongest guy I know.
Jon, I just want you to know you are an amazing person. You're an inspiration to me. And you sit there and you tell me that I'm one of the best things that has happened to you, but you are probably the best thing that's happened to my life. You are my best friend, and I am so proud to call you my friend. You are gonna be amazing on the field this fall, and I can't wait to see what life has to bring you. I can't wait to see what you do in life, where you go, how successful you are. You're amazing, and I don't know where I'd be without you.
Brother John, glad I'm living with you again. Thank God you've been gone away way too long. Proud of you for all you've done, dude. It's insane. You are a big motivation to me, and you make me do better things just being around you. Looking forward to going wherever we go. Let's go to Cali. Let's do it. Let's go crazy, man. Entourage, yeah, you know. Love you, brother.
John, I am so proud of you and so lucky to have you as a part of my life. And I know you've said it 1,000, maybe more, 1,000 times to everyone who's been around supporting you throughout this, but thank you for everything that you've done. You know, you've showed us way more than we could have ever done for you. And it was, it's pretty exciting to, you know, to see all the things that were almost taken from you that, you know, you've been able to experience over these past couple of months. And I can't wait to see you. I can't wait to see you play again. You did it, man. I'm so proud of you. Thank you, John. I'll see you soon, buddy. I love you.
I told you, buddy, you do it. You got this. Keep it going.
John, you are my baby, my joy, my love, my life, and I am blessed that I am your mom and have been there for you throughout your lifetime up to now, and I will continue to be by your side and to care and love you and support you. And I truly believe the best is yet to come out of your life. So good luck, and I love you.